It is officially fall, arguably the greatest season of the year. And I have come prepared with a cozy, scary book haul. These books I am hoping are going to give off really good fall vibes. I want that cup of coffee. I want the crackling leaves. I want the fireplace. I want the warm blankets. I want the horror. We've got an eclectic mix here that I think is going to succeed. If you watched my previous video, you know that I am working very hard to get these books onto my shelf so I can read them. Right now they're in my little library rolling cart, and I'm not allowed to read them until I read books that I've selected from that mystery jar, which progress is good. But out of all these, there's only been one book so far that I have successfully unhauled into my reading shelf. Does that make any sense? I don't care. We're gonna start. That is the Book Club's Guide to Slaying the Southern Book Club. Oh Lord. The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires is the only book that I've read by this author. This is Grady Hendrix, and this book is the Final Girl Support Group. This was chosen for a book club that I'm going to be in next month, so I did go ahead, purchase it, and get it on the shelf. I have not started it yet. I'm going to be starting it probably next week. I hated the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. Why can't I say that? I don't know. Hated that book with a passion, but Grady Hendrix has so many horror books out there, and he's just pumping out new ones that I really want to get into some of his other books, and I'm really hopeful that that book was just like a one-off. Next, we have a book that I have already read. I loved this edition so much. I got this at Barnes & Noble with a gift card that my brother had gotten me like a year ago. When I was reading East of Eden, I had to go there to find a non-mass market paperback, and I saw this and I had to pick it up. Look at that. That is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Look. It's so nice. It's just like, I love it. I did read this book a long time ago. I've been wanting to reread it for a while just because I read it when I was in high school. I feel like now I would get a lot more out of it, obviously. Understand some of the themes that had probably escaped me in the past. And I feel like winter might be a really good time to enjoy this. Because it's very cold, it's very unforgiving. Everything is very, I don't want to say dry and barren because it's not. It's a very cold book from what I remember, and I think it would be good to read when it gets cold. So probably winter. I might wait. What is going on? Something just hit the window. Some of these books I did buy a little bit ago, so I'm kind of struggling to remember what a few of them are about. And the next one is a perfect example of that, and that is the Golem and the Djinn. That is not a spelling of Jinn I've ever seen, but saying Ginny sounds ridiculous. So I'm going to continue saying it's Jinn, even though I might be wrong. This is about a golem and a Djinn who become friends in New York in, I think it's like 1900? Nope, 1899. I was close. But look at the front. I mean, does that just not scream cozy, wintry read? I did say it was going to be originally more like fall, but I'm including some wintry books in here too. Next, I want to talk about the book that I was probably most excited to receive. Oh my God. Kiki's Delivery Service. I had no idea that Studio Ghibli based so many of their movies. Oh, someone's getting in trouble. Based so many of their movies on books. I knew that Howl's Moving Castle was by Diana Wynne Jones originally because I did read that book, but I had no idea that this was based on a book, and I think it just got translated into English. I'm so excited for this. This is just like, what more do you want? It's a witch who goes to this new big city to prove herself. She's got the black cat. She's flying her broom around town, delivering cakes and goods, making friends. I mean, come on. I would have bought this book regardless of the age it's targeted at, but I did buy a few more middle grade books that I have not done in so long. But I'd really like to recapture my love of kind of simpler, younger books. Who was it? C.S. Lewis that said, like, one day we'll get old enough to start reading fairy tales again. Perhaps that day has come. Another really cozy book that I've been wanting to read for a long time and I just got, Legends and Lattes. Look at this cover. And even better, look. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Look at it. It looks like Hogsmeade. I love it. I love this edition. I haven't read it yet, so who knows if I will love it, but I think I will. This is about, I think, an orc, a battle orc, who is tired of all the fighting and tired of that way of life, moves to a small village and opens up a cafe, and no one has ever tasted coffee before. I've heard some mixed reviews about this, but it just seems like very much a slice of life fantasy that I'm really looking for. And on that train of thought, we have The Vine Witch. This is about a witch who works as a vine witch, so she helps grow the grapes that makes this really famous wine. And then she falls under a curse. She's blindsided by a curse. Now, after breaking the spell that confined her to the shallows of a marshland and weakened her magic, Elena is struggling to return to her former life. Yes, please. Another truly stunning cover. Hotel Magnifique is gorgeous. I mean, come on. This is giving me really strong Carvel, whatever. I still haven't figured out how it's supposed to be pronounced, vibes. It's about a hotel that is enchanted and it travels around like Howl's Moving Castle. And it says it reaches a new destination each midnight. So I think this is about two sisters who start working at this hotel. Next we have The Ichabod by J.K. Rowling. I do not know what this is about at all, but I do know that J.K. Rowling writes seasonal, fall, snowy, Christmas scenes so well, and those are some of the scenes that I remember, like the banquets and stuff, most vividly out of her early Harry Potter books. So I just am interested to see what this... Oh, it's upside down. You're upside down. Let's put you right way up. I don't know what it's about. It's some fantasy, and there's a tiny kingdom called Cornucopia. What else is gonna happen? I've got no idea. I kind of want to go into this one knowing nothing, but I'm feeling like I'm going to get some Harry Potter cozy vibes. This one I included for horror, but I don't know if this is actually horror or not. This is Night Bitch, about a woman who starts turning into a dog or a wolf. I think they made a movie out of it, which I haven't seen. But is this supposed to be scary? Or is it supposed to be funny? I'm all for reading about werewolves, so I'm kind of hoping that's where this goes. This next one I did previously own. I probably still do, but I think it's packed up. However, the edition I had was an ARC, and this is the finished copy, and that's The Golden Spoon. People compare this with Clue and like a baking show. I think there are contestants who go to this really beautiful, really sprawling estate every few years. Oh, every summer for the past 10 years. Okay. Bakers go to this place. I don't know if it's on TV, but they're competing for something and then people start dying. What says fall more than cookies and pies and cakes and murder? This next one I saw and it wasn't really on my TBR, but the reaction that everyone else has to it, specifically how much they complain about it, just makes me really curious. Gothic Anna. So this is, I think, a originally fan fiction that got published. I could be wrong about that, so don't quote me on that. But I think this is about a girl and her teacher, and it's a romance, which I don't know if I like that. But it takes place at, I want to say, a boarding school. I could read this, but who cares? A boarding school. And there's this big tower, this really high tower, and people start jumping off of it. Is that right? Or is that completely wrong? I'm gonna say that's right until I start it. That's horror-ish, dark, spooky. I've heard that the dark is there, but the spooky is not. Let's move back over to cozy. It's beautiful. This is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I mean, come on. Emily Wilde is a well-known professor. Is she? She's a scholar, a genius scholar who is writing the world's first encyclopedia of fairy lore. There's a little bit of romance, there's magic, there's fairies, there's mushrooms. I'm gonna love it. I just can tell. I can tell I'm gonna love that one. Another one I am really excited I was able to find. Assistant to the Villain. I've been wanting to read this one since it came out. It just seems so charming and funny and cheeky. I think I'm gonna get maybe similar like Princess Bride vibes in this one. This is about a woman, I think her name is Evie, who is unemployed, and one day a very attractive, I don't know if he's like a dark lord, he's some sort of villain, offers her a job. She becomes his assistant. I think she gets entangled in a lot of his schemes. That sounds great. Next is a romance that I have heard really good things about, actually, and that is Lightlark. This takes place on an island that only shows up like once every 100 or 500 years, and the rulers of the 6 neighboring kingdoms have to come to the island and fight or compete. They fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. Sisters of the Winter Wood. If that doesn't scream fall, I don't know what does. I don't know what this is about. I'm guessing it's about 2 sisters who live near a woods, and weird things happen in this woods, and one of them probably goes in the woods and gets lost or captured, and the other one has to go find them. Morality play. This is much more of a wintry book, but look at that. I love that cover. It is a cold winter in the 14th century, and a young renegade priest, Nicholas Barber, joins an acting troupe who prepare to play the drama of their lives. Enough said. I shall read it. A Dark Education. The first book in the series, finally, because previously I think I bought the second one, by Naomi Novik. I've only read, I think, Uprooted by this author many, many years ago. I think this takes place in a sort of magical school. That's usually enough for me. Oh, this one. So, I've never heard anyone talk about this book before. I really like horror books. I like being scared. I like horror movies. And there's this new, it's not new, but there's this genre of horror that's more like gut-wrenching, kind of disgusting, disturbing. And I've dipped my toe into that pool maybe like twice, and I still don't know how I feel about it. And I have a feeling this book is going to belong to that genre. And that's The Slob. Look at both of my lights reflecting this shiny, shiny cover. The Slob. Get out of her face. Let's see her face. I don't know what this is about. I saw this on a Goodreads list that one of the other horror books that I read was also on said list. I'm not going to read what it's about. I'm just going to start reading. And will I finish it? I don't know. I can't read the back. It's not long. I keep wanting to flip over and get an idea, but I really just want to go into this knowing nothing. I mean, there's like body parts strewn over the kitchen floor. There's a foot. And this woman's face, she's not doing very well. The Night Gardener. Gorgeous. This is a YA or middle grade book. Two abandoned Irish siblings who travel to work as servants at a creepy, crumbling English manor house. I just want to be charmed again, like when I was younger, and I just got so carried away by a series of unfortunate events, or Tamara Pierce, or Chronicles of Narnia. I just need to go back and try and capture that feeling again. And this may be the road forward. Returning to the horror with teeth. If I remember correctly, this is about a woman and her son. Her son has some issues as he's growing older, and the woman is afraid of him. She can't connect with him. And as he grows up, his behavior starts escalating. Does he kill someone? Does he kill animals? I don't know. Hopefully not animals. The Book of Witching. That's all you need. I don't know what it's about. It's about the Book of Witching. 400 years separate them. One book binds them. When I see a cover with a crow and a moon, oh, there's fire, then, I mean, what do you want? What do you want from me? To say no and leave this on the shelf? I can't. That's why I have, that's why I did this previous video where I'm like, I need to start moving stuff along. We've reached the final two books, which I hesitated to add to this list because these books both take place in the summertime. And that is Dreamland and Darkly. However, I'm thinking the vibe of the book is going to tip more towards fall and winter than it is spring or summer. This is a mystery about a toy company who makes really scary, creepy toys, and people have to compete. Interns delve into the heart of Darkly. They discover hidden symbols, buried clues, and a web of intrigue. Are they competing to win the company or win to like survive whatever they've been locked into? Oh, they're each up for an internship. And I guess they have to go through like a life or death game to see which one gets the internship. We'll say that's to be determined. I don't know if that's accurate or not. That might just be weird tangents I've gone on. Night Film. Oh, this is the author of Night Film. Yeah, I've got it right there. I've been wanting to read that for a while during Halloween because it is a horror book. And the last book, Dreamland, is just it's giving me cozy vibes. It takes place in New York, Coney Island. I think is there a circus going on there? It's a mystery. There's an invitation to visit. Her family is wealthy and snobby. She works at a bookstore. That's given some cozy vibes, I think. It does mention sweltering heat. That might knock me out of it a bit. But honestly, I don't think I'm going to struggle to come up with some books to read this season. Thank you guys for joining me for this haul. Once again, I still need to work a little bit more to be able to read some of these books. So you can join me on my previous video and my following video as I wrap up September's reading to see which of these books I can get on my shelves to read. Because I gotta read some in October. It's required. But I'll see you guys then. Thanks very much for joining me. Bye.